Okay, let's unpack this. If you were hosting a major winter gathering, the stress isn't really the food itself, it's the logistics.
Oh, absolutely. The logistics.
We're tackling what is, I think, the ultimate holiday operational challenge today. Planning, shopping for, and executing not just one major holiday meal, but two. We're talking Christmas Eve dinner and Christmas morning breakfast.
All without losing your mind.
All without losing your mind or, setting off the smoke detector, which is always a risk in my house.
It truly is the annual holiday pressure cooker, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
I think we've all been there. One of our sources, it captured the difficulty perfectly. It described holiday meal planning as a Jenga puzzle of oven timing and temperature.
That is the perfect description, a Jenga puzzle.
It is, because you've got that centerpiece roast, right? It needs 4 slow hours at 325 degrees, but at the same time, you're trying to blast your side dishes at 400.
And they all need the same shelf in the oven at the same time.
Exactly. You've got 2 massive dishes fighting for the same real estate at the most critical moment.
It's that chaotic rush, that feeling of being an air traffic controller trying to direct, 10 different dishes to land at noon simultaneously. But what if we could bring in an expert logistical engineer, one that has limitless patience and perfect recall?
That's the dream.
That's our deep dive mission today. We're examining how advanced AI tools, and we're talking about specialized systems here, not just asking a general chatbot, can serve as your ultimate kitchen assistant.
Right. We're going way beyond just, find me a recipe for stuffing.
We are going way beyond that. We're looking at how to transform that kitchen chaos into, calm, engineered confidence for your winter gatherings.
And the material we've compiled is, it's fascinating because it moves past the theoretical stuff. It gets into practical, demonstrated performance. We're pulling insights from surveys on these high-tech AI kitchen systems, things like Smart Chef and Meal Master.
And we've also got comparative data on the more specialized meal planning apps, right? Like Honeydew and ChefGPT.
We do. And we have step-by-step guides on using conversational AI, the big ones like Gemini and ChatGPT for full holiday meal engineering from start to finish.
And I think the immediate powerful insight that really anchors this whole deep dive is this. AI is no longer a tool just for massive data sets or for, writing boilerplate code.
Not at all.
It's actively being designed and refined to solve these real-world, everyday problems. Problems that have complex, often conflicting variables.
Like, say, optimally scheduling 2 massive holiday meals with completely different thermal and temporal requirements across a 36-hour window.
Exactly. It's a resource allocation problem. And as it turns out, AI is just brilliant at resource allocation.
And what's really fascinating here is that AI can construct a comprehensive multi-course menu almost instantly. But, and this is the critical part, it designs the menu logistically.
What do you mean by logistically?
Well, its capability goes far beyond the static search function of a normal recipe website. It achieves this by considering every complex constraint you give it, which is, absolutely perfect for this dual task of Christmas Eve dinner and then the brunch the next morning.
So you're not just getting a list of ingredients, you're getting a whole architectural schematic for the meals.
That's a great way to put it, an architectural schematic. These AI tools are built to streamline that initial menu design, helping you map out your meals days or even weeks in advance.
And this covers everything from the crowd-pleasing sides to that one specific gluten-free, dairy-free dessert your cousin needs.
Precisely. But to get this custom architecture, we learned that the first most important step is knowing how to prompt the system effectively.
Right. Garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
That is the crucial difference. It's what separates a useful AI output from a generic one. So instead of a vague request like, give me a Christmas menu.
Which I've definitely done before.
We all have. But you have to treat the AI like a sophisticated project manager. You need these context-rich prompts. For example, you should specify, create a Christmas Eve menu for 8 guests, plus a Christmas morning breakfast menu for 10.
Okay, so you're giving it numbers.
Numbers, constraints. The dinner must include 2 plant-based dishes, 1 gluten-free dessert, and crucially, minimize oven overlap between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m.
So you're telling it about your bottleneck. The oven.
Exactly. And then you ask it to please provide a detailed prep timeline. That level of detail forces the AI to start solving the real-world logistical puzzle right away. It moves past just creative suggestion and into actual conflict resolution.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about customization beyond just the dish list? Can the AI really curate an experience?
Absolutely. The beauty of this technology is the aesthetic customization. You can instruct the AI to balance sophistication and fun, based on your personal style.
So I could ask for a specific vibe.
You could. For instance, you could ask it to design a cozy, rustic Christmas morning brunch with, say, warm oatmeal and French toast. But then for Christmas Eve, you could specify a more formal, dramatic post-dinner cocoa bar, complete with garnish suggestions.
Wow.
And you can input constraints about your actual kitchen.
Yeah.
I only have one standard oven and a slow cooker. Or your budget, or your desired aesthetic. The AI will tailor every suggestion to those incredibly specific parameters.
So it's curating a whole experience, not just the food, but the vibe, the timing, the resource use. But that brings us right to, I think, the most common source of holiday stress, navigating complex dietary requirements.
This is such an important question, and it's pretty much unavoidable during big family gatherings. How do you handle your vegan aunt, your friend with a severe nut allergy, the keto-following uncle, and the low-carb enthusiast, all at the same table?
And all efficiently.
Right. Traditionally, this means you're juggling 3 different cookbooks, 5 web tabs, you're constantly cross-referencing to prevent contamination or dietary mistakes.
And usually you just end up making one large, completely separate dish for the 2 people with restrictions, which just adds a ton of extra labor.
Well, AI simplifies this entirely because it excels at filtering recipes and generating ingredient substitutions based on multiple complex restrictions, all at the same time.
So it can handle gluten-free, dairy-free, nut-free.
All of it. Vegan, keto, FOD, MAP. It can handle them all at once, ensuring the core menu is inclusive right from the start. And it often does this by just adjusting the main dishes rather than forcing you to create entirely separate ones.
Okay, so let's get into some specific tool capabilities here. Which tools are really leading the charge when it comes to smart substitution?
The ones that come up again and again are tools like the Honeydew Recipe Manager and Mealime. They're highly regarded for their support of not just the common allergens, but also complex diets like Mediterranean and DASH.
And crucially, they don't just, flag a dish as incompatible.
No, that's the key. They use natural language processing to suggest ingredient alternative that actually maintain the flavor profile and the texture of the original recipe. So they turn restrictions into, innovative opportunities.
I really like that idea of smart substitution. We're moving beyond just taking an ingredient out and into, engineering a replacement. Can you give me a practical example of how AI would make one of these adjustments quickly?
Sure, certainly. Let's take a Christmas breakfast casserole that calls for heavy cream and white bread.
Okay, classic.
If you prompted the AI for dairy-free and gluten-free, it wouldn't just tell you to skip the recipe. It would quickly suggest swapping the regular butter for a dairy-free oil blend, replacing the cream with full-fat coconut milk, or maybe a cashew cream.
And it would know which one works best for that recipe.
Yes, based on the other ingredients. And then it would specify a precise type of gluten-free bread with a high starch content to handle the liquid absorption. This moves way beyond basic filtering and into a genuine practical application of, ingredient science.
That level of detail is what moves it from a generic suggestion to a plan I can actually use. Now, you mentioned ChefGPT. That one takes it a step further, doesn't it? It focuses heavily on nutritional modeling.
It does, yes. ChefGPT really excels at crafting personalized meal plans, not just by managing the restrictions, but by hitting specific nutritional targets.
So I can tell it I want a certain number of calories.
Calories, macro splits, your protein, carb, and fat ratios, or a preference for a highly structured diet like Mediterranean. And the AI will adjust the entire recipe structure right down to the portion sizes and even the cooking methods to meet those goals over the holiday period.
Here's where it gets, for me, really interesting. It connects all this kitchen logistics stuff to a global impact. AI can start the whole planning process based on what you already have in your house.
Which ties directly into the sustainability conversation.
Exactly.
And this is a vital area where technology can drive massive real-world change. We know that globally, millions of tons of perfectly edible food are just discarded every year.
And it's mostly due to inefficient inventory.
Right.
People just buy things, forget about them, and they spoil.
Precisely. This inefficiency is a major contributor to resource waste and methane emissions, which directly conflicts with global goals like the UN Sustainable Development Goal 12 on responsible consumption.
So the AI solution here is ingenious because it attacks the core problem, those items in your fridge that are nearing their expiration date.
Yes, exactly. Apps like Plant Jammer are designed to be proactive anti-waste tools. They analyze your inventory, the ingredients that are sitting in your pantry and your fridge right now, and they craft personalized meal plans around those specific items.
Which cuts down on new purchases, saves you money, and
Most importantly, it actively prevents spoilage.
And this capability isn't just like a simple list matching exercise. It's being enhanced with some pretty cutting-edge tech integrations. You mentioned systems like MealMaster and Smart Chef allow for multimodal input. What does that mean in this context?
Multimodal means the system can accept input through different channels, not just text. So in the kitchen, this means you don't have to manually type out every forgotten item in the back of your fridge.
So what do you do instead?
You can just take a photo of the available ingredients. Say you open your crisper drawer and you find a half bag of wilting spinach, a few leftover mushrooms, and a nearly expired carton of eggs from Thanksgiving.
Wait, a photo. So this is where the really high-level tech comes in.
Exactly. The application uses computer vision, or CV, to process that image. It identifies the available ingredients, and it can often compensate for things like poor lighting or partial views.
That sounds incredibly complex.
The complexity is very high. The CV model has to distinguish between, say, a green pepper and a green apple, and it has to recognize items even if they're partially obscured or stored in non-standard containers.
So once it identifies the ingredients from the photo, what happens next?
That information is fed instantly into the large language model, the LLM core. The AI uses that input to generate a fully realized, context-appropriate recipe suggestion.
And it gives you a recipe just based on that picture.
It does, and to make it really compelling and actionable, MealMaster often pairs the new recipe with a corresponding photorealistic image of the finished dish. This image generation relies on advanced text-to-image models like DALL-E 3 or GPT-4o to provide that visual reinforcement.
That's a really powerful combination. The AI sees your waste risk, solves the cooking problem for you, and then shows you a delicious-looking result, all while helping you use up your perishable items. It really elevates the AI from a simple recipe finder to, like, a proactive sustainability partner.
It really does.
But what are the current limitations of the computer vision here? I mean, does it handle vague inputs well, like a mysterious jar in the back of the fridge?
That's a critical point to make. While CV is excellent, it does struggle with highly processed or packaged goods where you can't see the contents, or with very niche specific brands.
So it can see a block of cheddar, but not what's in a specific jar of chutney.
Exactly. That jar of gourmet chutney hidden in the back probably requires you to type it in. However, the system is designed to ask clarifying questions based on the visual input, which helps bridge the gap between what it sees and what it needs to generate a high-quality recipe. So once the menu is perfectly set, you've got this beautiful, complex, personalized, and waste-aware menu. The next phase is the shopping.
Ah, the shopping. Everyone's favorite part.
And everyone dreads the holiday shopping rush. AI promises to streamline this critical phase, saving time, reducing stress, and potentially cutting costs pretty significantly.
I think we can all agree that the holiday grocery store between, say, December 22nd and the 24th is a very unique circle of stress. The goal is a flawless, one-trip-only grocery list.
And the AI grocery list generator is designed precisely for that. It's meant to eliminate the flaws that are just inherent in manual or, traditional checklist style lists. It moves beyond simple automation by analyzing all your user data, your past purchases, your existing inventory, your dietary restrictions, and the multiple holiday meal plans you've just generated.
And it uses all that to make sure every single required item is accounted for without any duplication or waste.
Exactly.
So let's break down the mechanics here. How does this AI technology actually work to build that perfect, optimized list? Because it sounds a lot more sophisticated than just copying text from a recipe book.
It operates through a highly intelligent, distinct process with several feedback loops. So, step 1 is data collection. The AI ingests everything: your Christmas Eve recipe list, your Christmas morning bunch plans, any previous shopping lists you've digitized, and all your stored dietary preferences.
Okay, so it's gathering all the information.
Then step 2 is pattern recognition. The system identifies your frequently cooked meals, the staple items you always keep stocked, and your seasonal purchasing trends. This prevents it from listing items you, say, typically buy in bulk or that it knows you already have in abundance.
And then it moves into creating the list itself, right?
Yes. Step 3 is holistic list generation. It cross-references all the required ingredients from both your Christmas Eve and your Christmas morning menus against your existing inventory data.
So it checks what you already have first.
Always. Then it creates a single comprehensive list that's often designed for store efficiency, maybe grouped by aisle produce, dairy, meat, baking. And crucially, this list is guaranteed to have zero ingredient duplication.
And you said there's a fourth step, something that makes it a true learning system.
That's the continuous feedback loop. It's personalization and adjustment. Every time you manually modify the list, say you habitually swap out cow's milk for oat milk, or you prefer a specific brand of olive oil, the AI logs that change.
So it learns my habits.
It continuously learns and adapts to your modifications, predicting those personalized preferences for all future lists. So the more data you feed it, the faster and more accurate it becomes, which minimizes the need for you to make manual edits over time.
The functional benefits there are pretty obvious, but from a logistical standpoint, what are the most significant value propositions for a busy host?
Well, the benefits are really measurable. First is just maximize time saving. By generating that holistic list instantly, you just bypass the entire manual, error-prone list-making process.
Which can take forever.
It really can. Second is economic and waste reduction. By optimizing the list against what's already in your pantry, the AI prevents impulsive or redundant purchases. It promotes sustainable and economical shopping.
And third, the personalization.
Ultimate personalization. It ensures the list is perfectly tailored to your nutritional requirements and lifestyle choices, so you don't have to stress about remembering every single vegan or gluten-free substitute you need to buy.
Now let's talk stress reduction. I mean, nobody wants to make 3 trips to the grocery store on Christmas Eve. You mentioned AI solves this by integrating directly with retail and delivery platforms.
That seamless integration is what transforms this planning tool from just a helpful checklist into a complete utility package. Specialized tools like Honeydew, Mealime, ChefGPT, and even conversational AIs like Gemini, when you prompt them correctly, are designed to sync with major platforms like Instacart, Amazon Fresh, and so on.
So the convenience factor isn't just high, it's almost frictionless.
It's nearly frictionless. The highly detailed, optimized list that the AI generates can be directly uploaded or synced to these delivery services. This allows you to order all your ingredients for delivery or curbside pickup with minimal human effort.
And that transition from complex menu engineering to a purchased order, that has to be the single greatest time saver during the holiday rush.
I think it is.
And it handles the nuances of regional measurements, which is really critical for American households using these, sometimes global AI tools.
Yes, the AI is localized. These lists use familiar U.S. measurements, cups, fluid ounces, pounds, and they calculate the exact quantities needed based on your recipes and your household size.
So if a recipe calls for half a cup of broth,
and you have 3 recipes that do that, it won't list 12 cups of broth 3 times. It'll aggregate that and list 1.5 cups of broth. Or even better, it might list one 32-ounce box of low-sodium chicken broth, calculating the most efficient purchase unit for you.
You mentioned shopping list intelligence earlier, which suggests that standard apps often fall short. What are the critical shortcomings of those traditional systems that advanced AI specifically addresses?
Well, standard apps are fundamentally just rudimentary checklists. They lack context, and they lack any conflict resolution capabilities. For example, if you manually enter 2 recipes and both of them call for butter, a standard app just lists butter twice.
Right.
Intelligence features in AI address this through a few things. First, automatic merging and deduplication. It ensures that if 5 different recipes call for varying amounts of the same ingredient, say ground cinnamon, the AI aggregates the total quantity, lists cinnamon once, and then it categorizes it logically under baking or spices.
Okay, that makes sense.
Second, and this is huge, is quantity optimization. It calculates not just the total volume you need, but it suggests the optimal packaging size to buy to minimize waste and ensure you have enough. It prevents that classic holiday shopping error of buying 5 sticks of butter when you really only needed 3.5.
We've all done that.
And third, and this is perhaps the most complex, is context-aware substitution. If the AI knows you're ordering from a store that is frequently out of stock of a seasonal item, or if it sees the price is just exorbitant, it will proactively suggest a viable substitute.
Before you even check out.
Before you check out. And it bases that suggestion on taste profiles, nutritional value, and availability at that specific retailer.
That proactive substitution leads us straight into budget planning. which is a massive concern for holiday hosts right now. Does the AI have tools to estimate and control costs?
Absolutely. Conversational AI models, when you give them the right prompt, for example, generate the shopping list for the holiday meal but keep the total cost under $80, can incorporate real-time or estimated pricing data. The AI will estimate the costs for various ingredients and proactively suggest lower-cost substitutions right up front.
But I have to introduce some critical friction here. How does the AI handle regional price variations? Or does it always default to, like, generic national averages, which might not save me money at my specialized local market?
That's a crucial limitation to acknowledge. Right now, general AI models like ChatGPT often rely on national average pricing or pricing from their large chain partners. For truly hyper-local budget planning, you'd need dedicated shopping intelligence apps that integrate directly with local store APIs, or you'd have to manually input those price constraints.
So it's not perfect yet on the hyperlocal front.
Not yet. However, the AI does excel at suggesting generic cost-cutting moves like prioritizing plain potatoes or box stuffing mix over specialty prepared alternatives, and that gives you, the user, immediate power to stick to your financial plan.
So it's a tool that provides powerful estimates and suggestions, but the final hyper-localized price checking, that's still the human's job for now.
Precisely. It gives you the blueprint for budget success, but you still need to verify the price of the specific heirloom carrots at your local farmer's market.
All right, we have a perfectly engineered menu and a flawlessly optimized shopping list. Now we move into the actual execution phase 3.
The main event.
The main event. The biggest stressor during holiday cooking, especially when you're managing 2 massive meals, is the oven timing. We need everything out hot and ready exactly at our target time. We can really treat this massive cooking project as a complex engineering puzzle, and AI is the perfect logistical engineer.
And the difference between just following a traditional recipe and using an AI-engineered execution is, well, it's night and day. The AI's primary job in this execution phase is to break the process down into a calm, logical order. It's essentially reverse engineering the timeline.
So it starts with the end goal.
It starts with the target serving time, say 12:00 p.m. on Christmas Day, and it plots every single step backward from there. It ensures the Christmas Eve dessert is ready on time, the Christmas morning casserole is in the oven at 10:00 a.m., and the gravy is warming at 11:55 a.m.
And I think the single best way to reduce stress on the day of is prepping ahead. The AI needs to be smart enough to maximize the night before.
It's absolutely critical. A good AI will successfully distinguish between tasks you should do the day before, tasks that save precious time and counter space on Christmas morning, like chopping all your vegetables, measuring all the spices, assembling the breakfast casserole base, or baking that Christmas Eve dessert, and the tasks that have to be reserved for the day of serving.
I remember reading in the source comparison that Gemini really stood out for this specific feature.
It did. Gemini earned specific praise for providing a detailed night-before recommendation. It suggested tasks like making pie crusts or fully assembling the breakfast strata on Wednesday night to clear up valuable oven and counter space on Thursday. This kind of advanced scheduling, based on ingredient stability and prep time, is really the hallmark of logistical intelligence for multi-course meals.
And the step-by-step guidance has to be granular, otherwise it's not helpful. The AI shouldn't just say, prep the mac and cheese.
No, it provides granular detail, which prevents you, the cook, from having to constantly refer back to fragmented recipe pages. The AI generates a single unified prep checklist.
And what's on that list?
Specific, actionable directions. Things like start boiling the water for the potatoes 1 hour before serving, or whisk the egg and milk mixture for the French toast bake precisely 30 minutes before baking, or shred the 3 different types of cheese and store them in labeled containers. It consolidates dozens of disparate instructions into one coherent flow.
The core of this holiday cooking puzzle is oven management. We're talking about critical resource allocation, temperature, space, and time.
Yeah.
How does an advanced AI provide a critical oven strategy?
This is where the engineering really shines. The AI has to solve for thermal conflict. If your Christmas Eve roast needs 325 degrees for 3 hours, and the dinner rolls need 400 degrees for 15 minutes right before serving, the AI needs a strategy.
Especially if you only have one oven.
Right. And if you indicate that you have a second, smaller oven or maybe a convection setting, the AI will use that resource efficiently.
So what does that allocation actually look like?
It involves strategic resource dedication. The AI might suggest dedicating oven 1 entirely to the high-volume, long-bake item, the Christmas Eve ham, for example, and keeping its temperature stable. Oven 2 is then dedicated to the variable, short-duration sides and dessert, or maybe for the Christmas morning casserole that you assembled the night before.
So it minimizes dangerous temperature fluctuations that can ruin a main course.
And it drastically improves efficiency.
But seeing that plan is what eliminates the panic, right? Knowing exactly when to pivot and when you need to preheat that second oven.
That is the function of the best organizational tool that AI can generate, the Gantt chart. This is typically an interactive web page or a printable visual schedule that lays out every task prep, oven time, resting time, plating over a timeline. It shows you exactly what items are simultaneously occupying the oven, at what temperature, and when the prep window opens for the next dish. It transforms an abstract list into a manageable visual flow chart.
Let's elaborate on the Gemini versus ChatGPT comparison on this specific point, because the critique highlighted that this was a bit brief. Why did Gemini deliver on the engineering front, while ChatGPT was deemed basic?
The difference really lies in dependency mapping and resource conflict resolution. When prompted with that dual meal, multi-dish scenario, ChatGPT provided a sequential list and a very simple table showing start and end times. It treated the oven as, well, a generic resource.
Okay, so it just gave a simple list.
Gemini, on the other hand, generated a sophisticated document that included the master schedule, the explicit critical oven strategy, and a detailed Gantt chart that highlighted overlapping dependencies.
What does that mean, overlapping dependencies?
For example, it didn't just note that the mashed potatoes needed the stovetop at 11:00 a.m. It noted the critical overlap time between 11:15 and 11:45 when the main course needed to be removed from the oven, the rolls needed to go in, and the gravy needed constant stovetop attention. It even calculated idle time and provided an effort distribution chart.
An effort distribution chart.
Yes, showing periods of high active prep versus passive cook time, which allows the cook to pace themselves.
That distinction, highlighting the critical overlap and showing the effort distribution, that shows the AI is truly functioning as a project manager. It's anticipating resource saturation rather than just listing tasks sequentially.
Precisely. It views the kitchen as a production floor, and it's calculating capacity and throughput. That's the difference between simply listing a recipe and actively engineering a cooking project.
Now, holiday cooking is often a team sport, but sometimes that team needs some intense management. AI can help manage and direct family members who want to contribute.
If you're hosting, you need to delegate. But you need clear delegation. You can prompt the AI strategically. Build a low-stress cooking schedule for the day with tasks assigned by family member, focusing on tasks appropriate for children and low-skill adults.
That's genius. It avoids the awkwardness of having to constantly bark orders at your relatives.
It immediately delegates responsibility and structures the teamwork. The AI can assign time-insensitive or low-difficulty tasks like setting the table, measuring dry ingredients, or washing vegetables to less experienced helpers, which frees up the main host for the critical path items.
You could even make it fun.
It can be made playful, yeah. Perhaps by suggesting roles like gravy captain for a spouse or pie guardian for a responsible older child, it structures collaboration effortlessly.
And the support doesn't stop once the clock starts. What about those specialized kitchen companion apps? How do they function during the actual cooking process?
During the actual execution, specialized apps like Mealmaster use AI for real-time guidance and crisis management, and often through hands-free functionality.
Okay, so let's imagine a scenario. I'm mid-prep, and I realize the store gave me a specific type of spice that tastes far too bitter. I need to pivot fast.
That's where dynamic recipe adjustment shines. If an ingredient is unavailable, or as in your scenario, undesirable, the AI can suggest dynamic ingredient substitutions based on flavor chemistry and taste profiles. It's adapting the recipe based on your real-time sensory or availability input.
So it could help you fix mistakes on the fly.
Exactly. And furthermore, apps like Mealmaster integrate a specialized, context-aware chatbot. This feature allows you to ask complex questions mid-stir, like why is my custard splitting, or how do I fix overly salty gravy, and receive immediate specific guidance, making preparation easier right when that panic is setting in. So we've engineered the menu, we've optimized the shopping, and we've conquered the execution logistics. The ham is resting, the turkey is carved, and the breakfast casserole is set for the morning. We've achieved calm confidence.
We did it.
Now, how do we ensure the moment feels magical? And crucially, how do we manage the inevitable, overwhelming mountain of leftovers?
Right. The total holiday experience requires ambiance. And here, AI can step in to provide high-impact, low-cost solutions for creating that atmosphere without needing a massive budget or a complicated setup.
And you can use ambiance prompts effectively for this. Something like, give me 10 simple and affordable ideas for creating a cozy Christmas dinner table and atmosphere that emphasizes natural elements. That specificity is key.
And the AI understands words like cozy and affordable.
It does. Using natural language processing, it understands those concepts, so it bypasses suggestions for, say, expensive floral arrangements.
So what are the common high-value suggestions that these models consistently produce?
The AI frequently suggests utilizing readily available, inexpensive elements, things like candles, using different height pillars for a dramatic effect, or incorporating natural greenery like simple pine branches or clippings from your yard.
So things you might already have.
Exactly. Prioritizing warm lighting over harsh overhead lights, crafting simple centerpieces using fruit or pine cones, using cloth napkins for a touch of elegance, and curating soft, non-intrusive instrumental music playlists. It provides a blueprint for a low-cost, high-return sensory experience.
Okay, now for the ultimate test of an organized holiday plan. Managing the post-holiday food without waste. Leveraging leftovers creatively is key.
And this ties directly back to those sustainability goals we anchored this deep dive with. The worst outcome is letting perfectly good food spoil simply because of, flavor fatigue.
I think we've all suffered from that. 3 days of the same reheated roast.
Instead of suffering through that, you prompt the AI for creative reinvention.
So what's the most effective prompt strategy for leftovers?
Be specific about the timeline and the ingredient. Prompts the AI. Give me a 3-day, 3-meal plan using leftover smoked ham, focusing on meals that can be prepared in under 30 minutes, and use at least 2 international twists for variety.
That international twist request is great for combating the inevitable boredom.
Exactly. Requesting variety like asking for a Thai soup that uses your leftover turkey, or Mediterranean wraps made with leftover roast beef, or maybe a Mexican-style ham and bean chili. It turns post-holiday consumption into an exciting, innovative process. It extends the life of those ingredients, prevents spoilage, and maintains enthusiasm for cooking well past the holiday itself.
So we connect all this back to the bigger picture. Current AI tools are incredibly capable, but they're clearly just the beginning of truly intelligent, automated kitchen assistants. What does the immediate future of the AI-enhanced holiday kitchen look like?
Well, we're moving rapidly toward full integrated automation that eliminates manual data entry entirely. Upcoming features will include sophisticated smart appliance integration, so you can imagine refrigerators that automatically track inventory using internal cameras and weight sensors.
And then they suggest shopping lists based on what's low.
They suggest shopping lists and potentially even autonomously reorder staples when your stock drops below a defined threshold.
That's the end of ever running out of eggs or forgetting that one critical spice. The appliance just manages the list for you.
And this will all be seamlessly accessible. Voice activation is a huge area for advancement. As these systems get integrated into kitchen displays and virtual assistants, you'll be able to generate and manage your grocery lists simply by speaking commands while you're kneading dough or stirring a sauce. Hands-free operation will become the standard.
And finally, I assume the integration with personal health data is the logical next step.
That's the frontier, hyper-personalized nutrition. AI will soon integrate information from your health apps and wearable devices, your steps taken, your sleep metrics, your recent blood sugar readings, your current fitness goals. It will use all that to provide highly personalized nutritional guidance.
So my Christmas breakfast won't just be gluten-free.
It won't just be gluten-free, it will also align perfectly with your specific caloric needs and health objectives for that day. It's moving far beyond simple dietary filtering to true, real-time health optimization.
This has been an incredibly detailed deep dive. We've seen that AI truly acts as a sophisticated, custom-tailored co-host. It's managing the menu, the shopping, the budget, the complex dietary constraints, and the minute-by-minute execution. It genuinely provides an engineering solution to what used to feel like just overwhelming kitchen chaos.
The power of AI for holiday planning isn't simply in its speed. It's in simplifying these complex, multivariable decisions and providing personalized, context-aware intelligence. This empowers you to host with genuine presence and heart instead of being lost in a frenzy of hurried manual calculations.
It really does.
And this approach not only makes healthy and inclusive eating manageable and fun, but it actively helps cut down on global food waste and unnecessary personal stress.
It's just astonishing how this technology is moving from these abstract, highly technical tasks to solving these intensely relational, real-world problems that define our personal celebrations.
Well, this combination of advanced planning, real-time inventory management, and logistical engineering is fundamentally transforming the kitchen from a place of, well, overwhelming manual labor into an automated, sustainable ecosystem. And considering how quickly this technology has advanced, from basic chatbots to systems that generate visual Gantt charts and manage two ovens simultaneously, it raises a fascinating and provocative question for you, the listener.
What's that?
What single complex tradition beyond cooking will you ask your AI assistant to engineer next year?